Shut up and sit down.
Who's Benito?
Flying is the worst. Seats seem to be getting smaller, flight attendants grumpier, and delays way more disruptive.
Hey, it's sunny, let's get up and away. Yeah, I'm feeling we should go for a ride. Oh, let's go down the street on our bicycles, and we'll see where we can go and hide.
I don't want a mansion, a convertible, a yacht, some diamonds, rubies, sapphires.
Whoa, young lady. Even Santa can't take care of a list like that.
Well, hello there. Looks like we meet again. You are about to enjoy another superb episode of the Dialed Podcast with Matt Legrand, Evan Price, Lance Hepler, and Jake Von During. Between you and me, I have to apologize. They paid me to say that, so proceed at your own discretion.
Welcome to another installment of Winter Sucks.
Hello and welcome back to the Dialed Podcast. I am Jake Von During, and I am here today with Lance Epler.
Lance Romance in studio.
In studio. And Mr. Matt Legrand.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen of the internet? I am also in studio.
Excellent.
Welcome back, Matt.
Yeah, good to be back.
It's a small world, buddy.
Yes. You love that, don't you? just rubbing in the fact that I was in Disneyland. Like, everyone's like, oh, look at you going to Disneyland. I'm like, nope.
And we got Evan Price.
Oh.
Wah. No, Evan.
Evan is stuck on a plane in a giant tube floating in the sky, right? I mean,
Well, he went home to Ohio for Thanksgiving, and there is a giant snowstorm that hit the Midwest.
Yep.
And so there's like 15 major airports that the flights just got hammered. So
what time did that text come through from him this morning?
it's like 3 a.m.
I didn't see it until after the fact. And I'll look back and I'm like, he does this all the time. He sends us texts at like 3:45 in the morning. What are you doing, Evan? What you
the
doing,
man operates on a different time schedule than all of us to begin with.
Yeah.
And then he's like, what, Central Time or is that East Coast Time? I don't know, whatever it is.
It should be Central.
We have no Evan.
Yeah.
So Evan's not here today.
Yeah.
Hope you're doing all right, Evan. All right, let's get started with our backpedal. Matt, backpedal for us, please.
Oh, so Disneyland was horrible. I told you guys I swam in a Mickey Mouse shaped pool. And then got home, and I haven't done a ton, just swimming and biking. My Achilles is still bugging me. I did run once with my 8-year-old. Yeah. Running's not going great.
Did the 8-year-old keep up with you, man?
Oh, he can crush.
Okay.
He can crush.
There you go.
He's tough. So I'm trying to Zwift, and lo and behold, last night I ran into a crazy wackadoodle on the Zwift trainer. I was out there. I don't usually bike on Zwift in the evenings, and I was just like, got to the end of the day, and I was like, I really need to, do my 1 hour that I'm trying to at least make myself do an hour per day. Got on there. I was like, oh, yeah, Jake's on here. I'll ride with Jake. I rode with him for a little while, as long as I could, and then I got dropped. So it's just like riding with Jake in real life.
I was riding along. That was actually kind of cool. It was like all of a sudden, out of nowhere, you appeared, and another teammate of ours, Jay Hamlin,
I didn't see
just
him.
appeared as well. I'm like, well, hey, we got a little group ride going on here.
We got a team.
That was fun.
Yep. I tried to throw like a kudos out or whatever, thumbs up. What do they do on Zwift?
Right on.
Right on. Yeah. I tried to throw one of those out so you'd recognize that I was actually there. Because when you're doing a workout sometimes on Zwift, you might be like watching a video or a TV show or whatever. You might not really be paying that much attention to Zwift.
Right.
Or you're in the thick of a workout and you're paying attention to the details of your workout. And, sometimes you'll be like, oh, I got like 20 people send me ride-ons. I didn't even notice or whatever it is, right? Like you're just doing your job.
Fully in like multitasking mode. I was watching Home Alone with my kids. Oh, so nice. they brought their little bean bags and they were watching the movie in my office where the trainer's set up. And then I was watching, my wife was at my daughter's futsal game. So I was watching on an iPad her via was it FaceTime?
She FaceTimed you in for the game?
Yeah, my wife FaceTimed me. Like I got to watch the game.
Wait,
Oh, wow.
Can I do that?
Yeah.
Am I allowed to do that? 'Cause that sounds awesome.
Yeah, and then I was watching my workout, and then all of a sudden Matt appeared. I'm like, oh, hey. So I did just barely catch you.
I'd been there for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Yep. So good week, I guess. I don't know. Whatever. Training's training. It's this time of year. It's hard.
Yeah. Money well spent going down to Disneyland. Could you have bought maybe a new TT bike with said trip?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
My family are Disney lovers because my daughter worked at Disney World for a year, and she absolutely loved it.
A year's a long time to work at Disney.
Well, it was 9 months.
Yeah.
She did a 9-month Disney college program at Disney World, and she worked at Tomorrowland on the Buzz Lightyear ride and the Astro Orbiter, or whatever.
I think they take care of their employees. That's my impression. Is
They don't pay them anything.
but the
experience,
so they put you in. The way they like refer to people, it's like you are an actor
member.
or cast member.
Yeah.
And like when you go out, you're on.
Yeah.
Like so, it's pretty. Like when you talk about like companies and company culture and things like that, it's interesting. It's an interesting
hire
study for sure.
personalities.
Yeah.
Anyway, they loved it. So I'm sick and tired of Disney, but I'll still go because my family loves it, and I love being with my family. Jake, you probably are sick and tired of it growing up in Orange County.
It was really close to the house. It took about 20 minutes-ish to get there, and we had season passes up until our kids were born. I think my oldest was 2, was like the last time we had season passes. Just didn't have time to go anymore when you got the little kids.
I have a college roommate, a college buddy who grew up in Orange County as well,
Yep.
and their goal was to try to get kicked out every time they went in. He's actually been in Disney jail. There is such a thing as Disney jail.
Wow.
I don't even want to know the things he did to get kicked out, but he got kicked out several times.
I got taken to Disney jail once. Well, kind of. I was a little kid. I was probably.
Who are you guys?
I was probably
Disney
about
criminals.
12 years old, and I was there with my
Kinda
family and
dark.
my
This-
cousins, and my aunts and uncles were there. And my cousins and I were on the what's the sky buckets? Is that what they were called?
Yeah,
Before they
which are
took
no
those things.
longer.
And we were shooting spit wads, having a grand old time, hit people in the head, and then once we got there, they escorted us over and kind of gave us a big giant slap on the wrist, and we had to find the folks, and yeah, that was fun.
That's hilarious.
I got in more trouble at Disneyland than I ever did in school. That's kind of a funny story too. Anyhow,
All right.
so anything else to add to that, Matt?
Yeah, nothing going on really at this point. I'm you guys can give me feedback on this. I don't know if this is a good idea or not, but my plan right now is just to try to like form the habit of just getting on the trainer and doing an hour per day, like to where like it doesn't have to be super structured workout, but I just got to do some biking.
Got to get on it.
I got to do it. So that's my thought process at this point. Like today I have to get on the trainer. I have to get an hour in. Like that's
It's
it.
a good call. Are you doing a lot of running and swimming too?
Not running any, but I am swimming. Yeah, I'm swimming. I'd say this will be a big swim week. I'm doing, I think, like a hard 1,500 meter for time on Wednesday. So when this video comes out, we'll see how that suffering goes. But yeah, swimming's going great. Swimming's fine.
How many months until Whistler?
Ooh, I don't know. I should probably have some sort of countdown, but it's basically 6 months.
Is
Okay.
it July?
More than that. Yeah, it's July 28th.
July
so yeah,
28th,
what is
okay.
that? This is like 7 months.
7 months.
7
Yeah.
months, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe even 8.
I got time. I have time. I mean, at some point, if the running doesn't come around, I'm either going to have to like pull the plug or like jog the race, which
the
I actually
race.
think that might be kind of cool to not have like
Time
gotta
pressure.
break 10 hours
Yeah.
or whatever, kind of those crazy goals, but just like go have fun. That'd be
Yeah.
weird. Go have fun. I don't know. We'll see.
That's pretty expensive fun.
But it's, the race has been paid for. So you can do some things. Ironman has these options for like deferring your entry to, either a different year or a different race. So if things get to a certain point, I can do some of that or look into my options.
What's the story with your Achilles right now? I mean, what is it about that's bothering you so much?
I'm not sure even if it's the Achilles. It's almost like ankle stability, and it's kind of like lower calf muscles. it's weird. I mean, I've had lots of Achilles issues over the years and things like that.
That's why I ask.
Yeah. So I did work with Evan for a while and things like that. And so Disneyland was not good for my Achilles situation. It was the walking and standing in lines and things like that just seemed to make things worse. And so I was in a pretty bad place when I got back last week. And so I really tried to rest it a good bit. And it feels better from resting it. And so we'll just try to get on some more PT and some more stretching and things like that and hope for the best.
Ride more, run less.
Yeah, no. Biking, sitting down does not hurt. Standing up was hurting when it was really aggravated. It probably is okay now. So bike more.
Yeah. Well, I hope you feel better soon.
Yeah, thanks, dude.
Yeah.
Lance Hepler, can you backpedal?
I can backpedal.
Please.
Thanksgiving week this last week was a great time. Had my whole family home. It was kind of funny. We had Lake on the podcast, my 23-year-old son, last week.
Oh, man. Was he way better than me on the podcast?
Well, he
listened-
hammered me more than you do.
I
He
listened
made
to
fun
him.
of me more than you do.
So he was better.
Hey, you're getting the left-right job between him and Evan, man. Those guys were putting it to you.
But the funny thing was, as we were preparing Thanksgiving dinner as a family, we all listened to the podcast while we were preparing it, which was pretty funny. So we had like 30 people at our house for Thanksgiving. So it was
That's awesome.
big family event. So there was a lot of preparation.
Did you get us some new subscribers?
I don't know. Maybe a few of them will listen. But yeah, so it was great to have everybody home.
Yep.
I did manage to get out and ride a few times.
That was my question. Did you bike on Thanksgiving Day?
I did.
So did I. It was
That
crazy.
morning,
I
yeah.
went and did a turkey trot, but I didn't run. I biked it.
Oh, you did?
It was like I got like 8 miles in. I was like, this is awesome. I was loving it.
Yeah, there was like a 2-hour window that I had that I
snuck
could
out?
do something, and so I went and got on my bike and rode outside for a couple hours. Or
Was your family like, yeah, go?
No,
Did
they
you
weren't
ask?
even up.
Oh, you woke up early.
My Lake had left very early to go play football with
Okay.
his
Buddies.
high school buddies.
Yeah.
My football days are over,
Smart move.
so I
You're smarter than you look.
yeah, sometimes. So yeah, I just went on my bike all by myself for.
Was it
a
dark?
while. No, I went out.
No one's on the road too, right? Because
it was empty. Yeah.
no one wants to wake up early on Thanksgiving, and except for that silly turkey trot.
There's always a turkey trot going on, but I went post turkey trot times. So, yeah, it was good. The day before, I had gone out and there was some kind of storm blowing through Vancouver, Washington. And so it was really quite windy.
Mm-hmm.
And on the ride, I got 6 or 7 KOMs because of the
geez.
wind. and the ride got flagged immediately.
Really?
Somebody flagged it.
Wait,
Why? What was the reason?
Because they thought you were in a car.
Because they thought I was
Yeah.
in a car. Yeah.
Oh, you can contest that.
I know. Yeah. You just say, yes, this, you have to go on your computer
Yeah.
and they say, this ride has been flagged, and you can respond why. And I said,
That
nope.
wasn't me. I didn't flag it.
It's legit.
I didn't get any
I
emails, so I'm fine.
I flagged all of your rides.
That's probably fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was kind of windy. So there was a few segments that I averaged like 38 miles an hour.
Wow.
It was stupid.
Wow.
Yeah.
Which direction was the wind going?
It was a west wind. So
okay.
I rode all the way out to Kelly Point. All the way, down Marine Drive, all the way out to Kelly Point, and so
Yeah.
there
That's
was
cool.
there were some segments that
So what's interesting is if people are listening to this and they're not from this area, that's closer to Portland,
Yep.
and you have some serious cyclists there,
Yep.
right? I mean, so like those times are good. And
like 3,000 or 4,000 cyclists have tried those
Yeah.
things, and
Yeah.
I got a few of those KOMs.
That's awesome.
Because it was windy.
Right.
I was also laying it down, going for it
Right.
because
no,
I'm like,
yeah,
oh,
absolutely.
hey.
Well, and usually the wind's the other direction. I think
It is most of
depending
the
on what
other
time of day
direction.
and stuff. But yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, so that was fun. And then on Saturday, I went out with a group, rode with 10 or 15 guys on the Mari's ride on Saturday morning, and had a great
That's
time.
a fun group.
It was a fun group.
I like that. I like those guys.
It's an older group. I tend to make some people angry on that a little bit because
They're cranky anyway.
I go a little hard sometimes.
But that group's just cranky.
Well, so it wasn't raining, but the roads were wet, and I
Right.
did not show up on my rain bike. I did not have fenders, and so they're all hassling me at the beginning. And then I was on my regular road bike that has 60 mil carbon wheels on it. And so
It's a race
Heffler,
bike.
what are you doing on that thing? So, but I know couple teammates came. Alan Plank showed up. Oh, this is fantastic. Alan Plank showed up on his road bike. He's a triathlete here in town on our team. But he'll like hearing the story. He had put his front fender on backwards.
Oh, I saw that. I saw he mentioned that on either somewhere, Facebook or Strava.
He put it on his ride title on Strava.
Okay, yeah.
He just he hadn't put on the fenders for a while, and he didn't
yeah.
want to be a jerk like I was being a jerk and show up without fenders. So he put them on, but he just inadvertently put the front one on backwards. So it was we stopped at one point and let him fix them after we all harassed him greatly for it.
Nice.
It was pretty fun. But me and Alan had a great time riding together that day. So
Good times.
it was good.
Yeah, he's fit, man. He can roll.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I can't recall anybody that can push a TT bike up a hill faster than that guy. I think I rides those things up and down hills so fast.
Yeah.
He's so flipping strong.
Yeah, we had a good time.
Yep. He wasn't on a TT bike, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Anyhow. All right, my back pedal. We hosted Thanksgiving, so that was fun.
Did you have a lot of people here?
Yeah, it was a fair amount. I think we had, like 12 people or something like that.
Nice.
So we did a lot of cooking, a lot of cleaning, a lot of preparation for all of that. And I managed to sneak in a ride that day as well. However, it was on a trainer.
Yeah.
So
was it harder to sneak in a trainer ride because you can't just like sneak out and leave the house?
No.
Do you just close yourself off?
I got up and
do not disturb sign.
Did it a little bit earlier in the day. Yeah.
Oh,
just when I knew I had a moment where I could go do that and my wife not get stressed out about me not helping out. So, yeah, that was good. And then we, did all of our Christmas decorating stuff, and then I just stuck with the program. Got on Zwift quite a bit, and in the process of getting our house all set up for Christmas, we kind of go nuts here. We
the house is fully elfed out. there's Christmas decorations everywhere. It's great. I love it.
It's like Christmas vacation.
Yes.
We have fun. So just in the process of doing that and getting the Christmas tree and all that stuff, I'm like, I'm going to take Saturday off and I'm going to double up on Sunday. So I did a pretty decent effort on Sunday morning and then got back on again Sunday night and did another decent effort with you. So I got about, I think it was just over 3 hours of ride time in on Sunday on the trainer. 2 different efforts. So that was kind of nice. So after that, it was just another typical week.
Are you keeping track of hours per week?
Yeah, it was about 8.5 last week. So
nice.
That's kind of the goal is like 8.5 to 9 hours right now.
Okay.
Maybe sometimes a little bit more depending upon how our Tuesday night rides go with the team rides. Some of those can get to be upwards of 2 hours. And so when that happens, it'll be probably closer to 9.5 hours of ride time for me. Anyway, that was my back pedal. Nothing super exciting to report.
Right. None of us are racing probably for a while. I'm guessing March
or April for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. March will.
Yeah.
If I can get all my ducks in a row.
I wonder if Evan's doing.
Time trial.
I think he's probably still the same thing, like March or April.
When's the Beaver Freezer? That's the first TT race.
Well, that's close. That's
March,
a local one, but he's now that he's kind of getting towards big time. He's probably going to fly around and do some half Ironman distance races. I'm guessing he'll do one in either March or April, a half.
Gotcha.
And for Evan's backpedal, I'm guessing that he would like to say that he did more of the same, which is train 48 hours per week.
Yep.
And he was angry because he had to take a break to eat turkey. And he probably sweat indoors with his
buddies.
With his buddies, a crazy pain cave workout.
They did their holiday mix mashup workout probably.
Oh, so he's like had some flight issues. I bet you he's like pulling his hair out right now because he's like not able to work out.
Yeah, sitting in a giant tube with a bunch of people probably coughing and sneezing on him. Yeah.
All right, good backpedal, Evan.
Yeah. All right, our first topic, you guys.
Oh, can I do a regroup, a quick one?
Yes, you can.
I one of my favorite things to do when I'm not on the podcast is to listen to the podcast. I not jokingly, I do really look forward to anytime I have a chance to carve out some time and be like, ooh, I'll listen to this while I do whatever, right? I get excited to listen to the podcast. But you guys mentioned that I would plan ahead, plan workouts ahead, I would pick a hotel based on being able to swim and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And you guys were talking about things you can do for your vacations and things like that, like how smart, someone could plan out stuff by looking. You're way off. Matt must have thought ahead. He has swim gear and he has swimming stuff. And no. I completely Like I pack like 5 minutes before I leave, and I like, oh, these are small. Throw these in the backpack. So I happen to have like goggles and a swimsuit or whatever it is. And then the place that we were staying, I didn't pick it. My wife picked it because it's the conference, like medical conference that she, has a part of or whatever.
Oh, you were at a medical conference at the
hotel.
Anaheim Convention Center, which is right next to.
Well, the convention center was part of the hotel.
Okay.
And so that was picked for that reason.
Gotcha.
And so, I have zero control, zero planning. So
so you had to do Disney, just you and the kids, while the wife was
she was
at
doing
the conference? That's even worse.
Oh, it was horrible. It was horrible. She ducked out of the conference and did some stuff with us. Yeah. So that was good. But yeah, it was not an ideal situation for training, right? But I definthat got lucky having the pool that was
swimmable.
Swimmable-ish. Dodging kids. But that was you guys are crazy to think that I'm planning ahead.
I thought you were all.
You guys thought I was
straight up.
It's a major errors and omission there for sure. Sorry to interrupt.
Oops. We were trying to make you look all like proper.
You
and
should know
thought
better.
out
You
trained,
guys should know better than that by now.
All right. Back on topic. We have a list that we have compiled for you, and it is going to be our top 10, maybe 12, or more. Tips for getting your rides and training sessions in during the winter. What you can do to stay on track. So let's go ahead and get started. Lance, why don't you give us one?
My first one that I would do is to commit to ride with others. I think that helps keep you on track or helps you show up. Sometimes we were talking before the podcast. Matt wants to ride his trainer today, and he wanted to get it done this morning, but it just didn't happen. Yeah. Because you weren't.
I had to get the kids out the door for school.
Get the kids out the door
swimming.
and other stuff, and you swam first, and so it just didn't happen. But if you knew that you and I were both going to meet on Zwift at 9 a.m. for an hour and a half, you would have been there.
Yeah.
So
I can speak to that. The past 2 Tuesdays, we've had a lot of like stuff going on in life and with our team and whatnot, and it's just been commotion all over the place. So I haven't been able to get my training rides in the morning, and it's more of like one of those evening things. But we've got our team rides that we do on Zwift, and if those weren't there and I wasn't committed to doing those, I would not have gotten on the trainer. And so you get off and you're like, all right, well, I just did an hour and a half to 2 hours, whatever the ride was. I'm glad that was there because I wouldn't have done it otherwise, and I got a great workout from it. So it's a good thing to show up to.
I got a funny story with that because last Tuesday I had done a very long gravel ride earlier in the day that's kind of top secret because I was
trespassing kind of thing or what?
No, it wasn't trespassing. I was, how do I say this? I was modeling for an event to be announced later on.
Gotcha.
And so they needed photos to be able to promote this event later on. And they're not going to announce it until January, so that's why it was kind of top secret-ish. So and I had rode like 90 miles earlier that day.
If I could just talk about that real quick. Sorry to cut you off. We talked about this a couple weeks ago about setting up the live segment in the Strava beacon and all that other stuff. Yeah. So Lance has been sending me those since we've had this conversation. It's great. I know where he's at, and if something happens, I can help him out. It's awesome. So he sends this one on that day, and that's the first time I open it up, and you can see the GPS, and I can see Lance riding. I'm like, where the heck is that? And I started to open up the map a little bit more, and I'm zooming out. I'm like, where the hell are you, Lance? You're
it's not in town.
You're like, he's like, shh, don't tell anybody.
Did you not post your ride to Strava?
No, I didn't.
Nice.
Yeah.
Secret 90 miler.
It's a secret 90 miler.
So I busted him on that one.
That's awesome.
So I get home from that after being gone for like 9 hours or something. I was gone all day. I get home for that, but I rolled in at like 6 o'clock.
You're like, wait a minute.
And I got home and all my family, they were all doing something. They were all they were watching a movie or they were doing something.
The expectation is like they're going to want to hang out with me, and then you get there and you're like, wait a minute,
nobody wants to hang out. They're all screwing around with their friends. So I just went downstairs and thought, there is a team ride at 6:30. I'm just going to get on and do it. I'm like, this is probably stupid because I've already got 5 hours in my legs.
Jeez.
But I just got on it. I did the whole team ride. I didn't even think I'd do the whole thing, but I ended up doing the whole team ride. And I got smoked by Jake on the hot lap at the very end, so he completely dropped me.
Are you doing the audio part too?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
We probably had 10 teammates that were doing 10 or 12 teammates who were doing the ride, which is great.
Yeah.
But there's only 6 or 7 who do the audio part.
Right.
Which is a bit of a bummer. It'd be great to have everybody, hooked up and doing it, but not everybody.
Some of them are technologically challenged.
Yeah.
Come on, guys.
Yeah.
I feel, I know I'm a techie person, but I still feel like, oh man, for me to scramble to get stuff all put together, I'm like, okay, you can do the audio stuff through your phone. There's some good options, right? But it's just like right now, it's like my Zwift setup is not where it needs to be. That's okay.
Yeah, once you get all set up, though, it makes it a lot more fun, more interactive. So it's funny because everybody will be chit-chatting and telling stories, and then we get to that hot lap, and all you hear is just people.
That's when I mute. That's when I mute my microphone because I do sound like I'm dying the whole time.
Yeah, that was a good ride.
Yeah, it was fun. So that definitely helps during the winter is committing to other people. Same with the Mari ride, the Saturday morning ride.
Right.
If, I probably would have waited like 2 hours longer to go out for it to warm up, but man, it was better to ride with those 15 guys instead of just going out by myself for 60 miles.
Yep.
I rode with them, so that helps.
All right, Matt, give us another one.
Well, I can steal Zwift. I can snag that one. All of us would think of that, I'm sure, if we're thinking about winter riding. And it doesn't necessarily have to be Zwift. There are other training platforms. Trainer Road is one that is excellent.
Yep.
But this is new within, I will say, the past 8 years or so. It used to be you hop on the trainer, you put a movie on, and you ride the trainer.
Yeah.
And it's just, that's it. And now we have, some computer assistance, right? Like some computer distraction, whether that's rolling you through a workout with Trainer Road, or there are other companies that are doing this too. But Zwift is the one that most of us kind of like and enjoy because it's a video game that you're playing, and there's just different things. You can do group rides, you can do a workout, you can do a training plan, or you can just go ride on Zwift, which is something I do a lot.
Immersive virtual reality kind of ride. It's fun.
There are sprints and there are climbs, and it is distracting from the pain and whatever. And riding outdoors is awesome, right? Because it's just the feeling of riding outdoors, and you miss that indoors. The wintertime. Some of the things that make riding outdoors great, right? Like the wind in your face can be a little bit bittersweet, right? So Zwift is a great recommendation for you guys that are, trying to figure out, okay, how am I going to stay in shape this winter? I put on a lot of bike work or whatever, put together a lot of bike work this summer, and I want to stay in shape for next season.
Yeah.
Yep.
And if I can add to the Zwift thing or Trainer Road, whichever one you're doing, if you decide to do that, it becomes a lot more immersive. It's a lot more fun and enjoyable to do if you have the proper equipment. And some of that stuff can get a little pricey, but if you play your cards right and you look around, you can find some stuff that's relatively decently priced. But like having a smart trainer where it's a direct drive, or if you've got they've even got like your kick or climb, make sure that you've got a good fan so that you can thermal regulate. I mean, there's a lot of things that you can do to make it even more fun. So,
well, my brother wants to get a kicker snap for Christmas, maybe, I don't know. And I was like, spend the extra money and get the direct drive. But I don't know. He doesn't listen to me.
Yeah, the direct drive's a lot easier on your bike too.
It's a lot easier on your bike, and I for one really prefer it because I'll feel slipping and stuff like that when I'm on the kicker snap. Even when I tighten it, I just don't think it's as good of a road feel.
He's on a carbon bike. He needs to be careful.
I think he might be on a mix. Yeah.
What's the price difference between the snap and a direct drive?
Not much.
I think it's $200 difference.
Ish. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Anyway, that's something that, I'm trying to talk to him.
The snap is where you use your own wheel and tire, and there's just resistance on the rubber wheel, right? On your tire.
Which is kind of like a classic trainer, except for the fact that because it's a smart trainer, you can still, Zwift can still control the resistance.
Okay.
So there is some of that, but then if you're looking for accurate power and things like that, it's all, there's a lot of dependency between like how much pressure you put, with the metal piece towards the tire. So if there's variance in that, your power is going to be different each time, which means your workouts are not going to really they're not applicable. Right. It's just, so there's some frustration there. And like, I'm having a hard time explaining that to him. But I don't know. He's also on, I think, like a 9-speed bike, which I also recommended him not to get, but that's besides the point. But that might be an issue too. I'm not sure how those trainers handle some of the different cassette types that are older.
Like a direct drive?
Well, yeah, the direct drive.
Yeah, you can put a 9-speed cassette on
You
there.
can?
Yeah.
Okay. I know you can do 10, 11, and
with the proper spacer, you can do it. I've actually done it before.
You've done it?
So,
Okay.
yeah.
So it's just a spacer. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah. All right. For me, it's basically get on a good program to follow. And if you get on a program and somebody's actually holding you accountable for getting that program done, that's a good way to stay consistent because you've got to check the box. You've got to get that workout in. And whether it be outside or whether it be on a trainer or whether it be whatever, if you're getting that workout done on a daily basis, you're staying consistent. And that's what the model is for this time of year. Stay consistent. So get with a coach or somebody.
If you set up a program and you put it into your calendar, is going to be a lot more accountability. You'll stay on task way better than if you just think, I just want to ride today.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Well,
if I feel like it.
To speak against that, if you're not into racing, if you're not into performance and you just like to ride your bike, you can still find something from that, just having a little bit of a fun or a challenge, whether it be just the simplest little, like, hey, we got to get into a certain volume every week. Like, set yourself up for a challenge that month, whether it be like the Rafa challenge where you do the 300 miles over that 10-day period. I think that's what it is.
So do they take indoor rides into account for that?
In years past, no. I think I heard somewhere that they might be doing that
because that
this
might
year.
affect your eligibility.
But you're supposed to harden up, we'll not use the acronym, but you're supposed to harden up and get out and get it done outside. But you can still, like, you don't have to physically be able to be in the thing, but you can still like go along with it if you're riding indoors. If that's your
I mean, you get like a badge or something? It's not like right?
Or challenge yourself, like, I'll do 10% more just because I'm indoors, whatever the case might be. But you don't necessarily have to be racing. Just set something up, set some sort of program or challenge up for yourself that will keep you consistent so that you get it done. How about you, Lynch? Got another one?
Yeah. My next one is to sign up for a race.
Nice.
If you have a race on your calendar, that's motivating.
Scare yourself into
training.
Yeah, because if you don't get the work done, what happens?
You suffer, or you
race anyway, and it's not good. It's ugly.
Or you're last, which is also fine, I guess. No, not fine. So yeah, that's another one that helps me a lot through the winter is to have a race on the calendar that I've already signed up and paid for and know that, okay, I got to be ready for this.
How's the training going for that race you signed up for, Matt?
I signed up for an Ironman race, and it's coming. The days keep ticking by, even if the training doesn't keep coming along. Either way, that race is a-coming.
Yeah. All right, Matt, give us another one.
Having proper winter gear, I think, is, I think it's just nice. Like, I think the more years you bike, the more kind of gear you collect and stuff like that. But just having like the tights that are thick and the shoe covers to keep we ride in a lot of like wet conditions because Pacific Northwest. And so kind of keeping the feet as dry as possible for as long as possible into the ride. I mean, usually if you're on a bike for 3 hours, by the end of the ride, you kind of lose track of having the dryness of the toes and things get cold. But just having those, at least that first hour of having, some dryness of some sort, it's good. And then I think, just having like decent layering options is really nice. And so it's taken me a while, but I feel like I can go bike kind of in any condition at this point. If the roads are icy, I still skip out, but I can go ride in whatever conditions I think that are out there. So
yeah, I think it's worth it too to spend a few extra bucks on something that's more quality. I mean, there's stuff out there that they will claim as being waterproof or it's going to keep you warm, and then you get out there and put it into practice, and not so much.
I've had good luck with Castelli. If you guys are kind of looking at, different things and saying like, oh, this one is, $20 and Castelli is $40, it might be worth it, especially, if you can find a deal or something like that on the Castelli stuff is pretty nice.
I got a Castelli base layer.
Yeah.
That has just been a game changer for me.
Yeah.
The
this
Flanders?
winter. Yes.
Yeah.
It is. It goes underneath my bibs and my
Next to skin.
kit and next to the skin. And man, I pretty much just put my winter coat over the top of that. I don't even wear anything else.
Yeah.
And it is fantastic. It has been great. That's one thing that has helped me tremendously. The other thing is, I got a great pair of wool socks.
Yeah. Wool's for real, man. I mean,
and it has helped my feet a ton. I don't have to have a big, thick shoe cover, so I wear these wool socks, my cycling shoes, and then
No
just
shoe cover.
And I do wear a shoe cover,
Okay.
but not
a thick one.
not a big, thick one, just like a wind rain protector,
Yep.
One.
A shell almost.
Yeah, like a shell. And the wool socks are just money.
Yeah, they are.
I've got holes in them already, and I'm crying inside. Because my favorite
You're
wool
always crying.
socks.
You're always crying
I'm
inside.
always crying.
No, man. Wool is the ticket for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here's one. Get a good weather app. Don't just rely on your standard little weather app that you get with your phone. Get a good weather app where you can look at the Doppler radar, where you can look at the wind conditions, and that's pretty accurate with respect to when rains are coming. If you kind of know, and knowing's half the battle, when the weather's coming through, you can kind of hit and miss where others might go out and ride and say, I got bombarded because I just looked at the standard thing that said that there was a chance of rain today. Well, there's going to be a time of the day where there's not rain, and if you can miss using said time, then do it.
Right. That being said, my little add-on to that one would be like have a flexible schedule if possible.
Yep.
Because if it's going to snow one day and it's going to be sunny the next, you may be able to put the workout. You may do you may switch it up, like do your indoor workout this day, and if your schedule is flexible, which not all of our schedules are, but for the most part, like for me, I can just be like, I'll do that workout tomorrow.
I know how to have a flexible schedule.
Retire.
Just quit your job.
Just quit.
No job. Just quit your job.
No job.
All
no
of a
problem.
sudden, hey, I've got all this time.
Quit
to
your job, and
train.
Lance will support you. Yes, if you'll ride
Wait a
with him.
second.
Wait a minute.
He'll pay you to ride with him. What weather apps do you guys use?
Well, I use the Weather Channel weather app because it's easy to find different cities and different places, and there is a tab right on it for radar. I'm always looking at the radar.
Yes.
I'm always and I'm always zooming the radar out to see what's coming, or did it just pass? And so do I need to take my rain shell with me, or does it stay in the garage when I leave?
Sure.
So
How about you, Matt?
I also use the Weather Channel app. I think it's pretty solid.
Pretty accurate for you guys?
it's fairly accurate.
Yeah.
I think there's other stuff there's like the Underground Weather app that's I think good.
Uh-huh.
What do you use?
I use AccuWeather.
AccuWeather. Do I have that one on here?
That's another good one that somebody told me to use when I first moved up here, and it hasn't really served me too wrong since I've been here. But that's that's something worth looking into. I don't think it's anything that anybody needs to spend any money on, but you can get pretty reliable information from all these people. And I don't know, do a lot of them derive their information from the same source, or is it? I mean, where did they get their?
That's a great question.
Well, our government pays for a lot of the information that's being put out.
Gotcha.
So almost all of the apps basically are using similar information and things like that. But
I know I can set up to get alerts when things are coming through as well. So that's just been pretty handy for me. So might be worth looking into.
Yeah.
But and if you guys know of a good weather app, put it up.
Yeah.
All right, Lance, hit us with another one.
Something that's always motivating for me, and I get a lot of grief and kudos for it in the same instance. One thing that's motivating for me is Strava segments.
there it is.
I always tease that Strava is always watching when you're out there riding. If you've got your computer going or whatnot, if you've got the app going while you're riding, Strava's always watching. So
Yeah, and so many people like hate on Strava,
Yep.
which is fair, in some regards. But I don't know, I feel like if it's motivating for you to be like, I want to go hard on this segment because it's safe and whatever, like conditions are safe, like I think that's awesome. I mean, I love it because for us that travel, like you can go find, like I use Strava to find things.
Right.
But also I think like a segment that can motivate you, that's awesome. Anything to motivate you.
Yeah.
For those that knock Strava, for every one thing that they can give me that they don't like about it, I'll give you 5 things in return that are going to be a solid benefit as to why you should use it. There's so many great positives about that app, and I've been super thankful to be using them for, almost 10 years now, or however long it is that they've been out. I started using maybe like a year after they first came out, so it's good stuff.
How did you hear about Strava the first time? Do you know?
I think it was... I got my iPhone. Maybe it was about like 2009. I think that's when I got my first iPhone, if I'm not mistaken. And then I just started searching the App Store, and I'm like, put in cycling, and like all these different things came up, and it was like Map My Ride, and was there one Ride with GPS, and a few other ones, and Strava popped up, and I'm like, what's this? And that one just seemed like it had the best user interface, and I'm like, it's kind of neat how they got this segment thing built in there. And I remember the first time I used it, I went out and did a ride, and came back, and it's like, you got a KOM here, you're in the top 10, and then you got a PR on this. I'm like, that's kind of neat. And then it's pushed me to go ride more, and I started meeting more new people, and you start seeing people that are fast, and you're like, who is that person? You start Strava stalking them a little bit, and like eventually like get up the nerve to send them a little, hey, that's a great job, whatever, you killed it, and hey, you want to go for a ride someday, and you can show me around a little bit more, and then you get to meet new people. I mean, there's so many great positive things about it. So
I was just looking to see if I could figure out how long I've been on Strava. I think it's been a long time. But I think I probably, like DC Rainmaker is a website that talks about technology, and it's largely cycling technology. He does talk about a lot of other things, but
he's a triathlete. Started as a triathlete.
He did. He started as a triathlete, and but now I think he's more doing like cycling. He talks about
he reviews gear full time now.
Yeah, he's doing great.
He's doing great. He's very informative. His opinions are great.
I really like him.
Yeah, I agree.
Really like him.
Yeah. I think the first time I heard about Strava, and I can't remember where it was, but Lance Armstrong mentioned it.
Okay.
And I remember if because I was following him on Instagram, or if I was listening to a podcast or an interview, but he mentioned Strava, and I'm like, Strava, what is that?
Yeah.
And I looked it up, and then I've been
on it,
an addict ever since. Yeah.
I'm looking back here. It was 2009 for me. I've got a bunch of
9 years.
Yeah, it's like.
Does it say like on your profile? I couldn't find it on my phone, but I bet you.
I just went back on my profile page and I looked up the year-to-year activity. I've got some stuff that's older than that, but I think that's because I was using an old Garmin 305. I don't know if you guys remember that monstrous dinosaur of a beast. And I think when I first started using Strava, I plugged that in and it backloaded some other rides. But I think when I first started using it was October of 2009.
That's a pretty good amount of time, man.
Yeah, it's a lot of years.
Yeah.
Thank you, Strava.
Yep.
Thank you, Strava.
All right.
I have yet to pay for the pro membership of
premium?
Strava.
Yeah. I adopted that pretty early on. I'm like, these guys are doing some pretty cool things, I wanted to support them, and I wanted them to continue to grow the app, and I figured they needed a few bucks to do that. I'm like, well, I think at the time it was like $5 or $10 a month. So I'm like, I can give them $5 or $10 a month to help them out. So, and now they're just this massive beast of an app.
Yeah.
All right, Matt, do you have another one for us?
Oh yeah, of course.
Shoot.
One thing would be like a training camp. I mean, I've talked to a couple people that have clubs or teams and things like that they're doing a training camp either in the early spring or in the winter. And those, we talked about like signing up for something that scares you. In some ways, having a training camp can scare you into being like, you got to get fit.
Yeah.
So I was talking with Nate, a guy today, and he's saying like his training camp is in March, and he's really, it's like you got to train for that because it's a week worth of triathlon training. I know we're talking about doing a training camp maybe in February.
Mid-February, yes.
And I would love to do it. I'm super scared of like how bad I will get just buried. But that's part of it, right? Like you
part of the point.
Part of the point, and you train for it to get ready for training camp.
Yeah.
And then you get to be in training camp, and then hopefully you come out the other side better than you started.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And when we sat down to start training for last year, Michael Myers and I sat down, and he had this plan in the back of his head, and he basically laid it out for me. And I looked at him, I'm like, you are crazy. We're really going to ride that many miles in a week. And it ended up being like, it was over 500 miles of riding in 1 week. I'm like, that, I've never even done anything close to that. I think I've done over 300 a few times. Yeah. And that was a big voluminous week. And he wanted to do 500, and we finished with 525 miles over the time period that we were there for training camp. And I think we did something like 75,000 feet of climbing. It was just absolutely insane how much climbing we did in a week's time. And I would not have done that without the training camp, and I would not have trained through the winter the way that I did to get ready for training camp without that carrot out there, without that looming event coming up. So you want to be able to perform. You've got, I think there was 14 of us total, so I didn't want to let anybody down. I wanted to be strong for it. And we set it up, went out there and did it, and came out the backside a lot stronger and had a great time to boot. So that's definitely something fun to put on the schedule if you can. And we did travel down to Palm Springs as well, and that made it all the better because we had bright blue sunny skies and about 80-degree temperatures every single day. It was awesome.
So that's my next one on my list is plan a trip somewhere.
Yes, sir.
So wintertime here, it's pretty dark, pretty gloomy. A lot of people will do this. They'll kind of plan a trip. And did I take one of yours, Lance?
Nope.
Okay. Retire early and plan a whole bazillion trips
and just travel.
Be like Lance.
I'm gonna walk the earth.
Walk the earth.
Ride. Don't walk.
But no, I definitely think like depending on where you guys are hearing this, that planning a trip in the wintertime might be worthwhile.
Yep.
Worthwhile investment.
Absolutely, especially if you need to get a little bit of vitamin D.
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Lynch, you got another one?
The last one I have is go ride your mountain bike or your cross bike.
There it is.
Yep.
Yeah. Get on some dirt somewhere.
Switch it up.
Yeah, switch it up. So because that can be motivating and fun and a challenge and also help your bike handling skills by getting out on the dirt.
When it's cold out, too, I find that when you're on a mountain bike, even when you're descending, you're still using your body quite a bit. But when you're climbing and just flat riding, you're not going quite as fast. So you're not dealing with all of that wind blowing over your body. So you don't have that evaporative cooling and that wind chill that's happening. So I find that me personally, I stay warmer when I go on a mountain bike ride.
Sure.
And I almost have to like shed layers just to make sure that I'm staying warm or not getting too warm rather. But I think that's an excellent idea. Just be mindful of the local trails, and if it's been raining, and don't get out there and
tear them up,
wreck stuff. Yeah, stay on the gravel, hard pack stuff, or just confer with somebody that runs the local trail system to know when good times to go out and when times are you're not supposed to be out there. So
yeah.
All right. I've got another one, and I think this will be our last one. Will be our 10th. So maybe we didn't bombard you, unless Matt's got other ones.
No, we definitely have given more than 10. Listener feedback. How many do we actually throw out?
Well, I've been keeping notes, and I have 9 that we've done so far. But short, hard, intense rides to keep yourself warmer instead of like maybe the longer, slower rides. Those can definitely keep you warm, and they're going to be you not out in the elements for quite as long. And try and keep it a little bit flatter so that you can avoid the descending.
Yes.
Descending on a road bike in the winter when it is crazy cold outside sucks.
It's miserable.
Especially when you're soaking wet. Oh, my God.
You feel all good doing that big 4-mile climb up to the top of the cold because you're staying warm, and then you have to turn around and come back down. It's freezing.
I'm going to bring up Michael Myers again. It was 2 years ago, and it was like dead middle of January, and it had snowed recently, and he set up a ride for us to go do. So we had a group of about 13 or 14 guys that show up to do this ride, and at the last minute I get a text from him like, not going to make it, not feeling well today, going to stay home and just stay on the couch. I'm like, you bum. It's like totally crappy weather out, and it's raining, and it was just above freezing. I think it was 38 degrees, and it was raining. And we're like, all right, we're going to go do this. We rode out into the hills of Washougal, which is east of like Vancouver where we're at, but it's beautiful riding. We get up to the top of the first climb, and one of the guys who came with us on the ride was struggling bad. So we were standing there waiting for him to catch up to us. Oh my gosh, that was the worst. You just stand there and you can feel your core temperature coming back down.
Yeah.
Hindsight being 20/20, should have circled back and rode with him, but we ended up having to wait for this guy about 3 or 4 times. And it's great that he came out and he was trying and whatnot. I'm not going to like disparage him for that.
This was me, wasn't it?
No, it was not Matt.
It's okay.
We finally get to the end, and like we're standing on the side of the road sometimes waiting for this guy, and there's literally snow drifts and banks of snow that are just like these giant icicles are just radiating cold. It's just like, all right, let me make you even colder now. So we get to the descent to come back into town, and this is the same descent that I actually got hit by a car. 6 months ago. Coming down that, my hands were shaking. I couldn't feel the hoods. I was just like gripping I'm like, I feel myself gripping kind of, but I don't feel the hoods. And I was chattering so bad that my teeth were like knocking back and forth. And I was almost getting like a speed wobble. I had to slow myself down because I was shaking so bad.
Yeah.
And at the bottom of the hill, there's a little coffee shop. We decided that we had to stop there and we all drank a bunch of coffee just to warm up our core temperatures. I got home from that ride and had to sit in the shower for 20 minutes just to get my core temperature back up. I couldn't move. I was blue when I got home. It was terrible. But anyway, avoid descending because that long descent was god awful. And don't wait for people. Circle back and ride with them. Don't just stand there.
Don't wait for Matt.
It was Fat Lance is who it was. That's who you're waiting for.
He's another person.
He's another person.
He's a dick. He's gone.
He's kind of
Lance looks so skinny now. He's got a fresh haircut, shaved, and he looks so skinny. Like, oh man.
He's a modeling man now. Didn't you
know.
hear?
I was modeling. Yes.
If the wind blows the wrong way, you're gone.
I'm gone.
You're gone now.
Oh, did you play the Lance Romance while you're
That's
modeling?
right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Chicken, brown cow. All right, so that's our 10 things. You guys got anything else to add to that? Did we miss anything? If you guys have any tips, too, feel free to chime in on our Facebook page.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we'd love to hear from you. And I'm sure we'll hear from Ryan. He'll tell us about how
Give
it's
us
so much
something.
better down in Nevada. You've got summer and summer light. So, all right. Let's kick on here and talk about our next topic. And this one, I'm kind of curious to see what you guys wrote down. We haven't compared notes on this one. What do you guys want for Christmas this year? What's on the Christmas list?
The Christmas list.
Christmas list. All right, I'll start because
Go for it.
So today I'm, on the internet as I always am, and there are some deals on stuff, and I'm always kind of checking stuff out because there's certain like brands and things like that I kind of follow, and it's good to see who has deals. Today actually is Cyber Monday when we're recording this. And sorry if we talk about deals or whatever that are past when the podcast actually comes out. But there's like a bike box, or travel box or whatever that I've kind of been watching or whatever. They had a deal on it a couple months ago, and then they have like this big sale on it today, and I was like, okay, great, perfect. Like I need this to, like, if I'm going to take my bike anywhere, whether that's like a training camp or like I was thinking about doing a race in April in Florida. I was like, okay, I'll need this, and this is the one that I need because you don't have to take off the aero bars and things like that. So I send my wife this text, and I'm like, I know that I'm really hard to shop for. Here's the deal for this, da-da-da-da-da-da. And she, I went swimming, I came back from my swim, and she's like, bleep, bleep, bleep. Like, I already talked to Jake about
I wasn't going to say anything.
She was already on it. You ruined it.
She was like, I already talked to Jake, and we're going to get you something for Christmas. It was going to be a surprise, and I can't get you anything, blah, 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 blah. Like,
Which one was it that you were looking at, man?
So Scion, that's not how you pronounce it, is it?
I think
Scion?
so.
Okay, so Scion is I think they're a French company, and they make bike boxes. I think they do a decent job. I don't know that much about different bike boxes and things like that. But one thing that you might not know is my aero bars and things like that don't come off.
Yeah.
So I can adjust them and things like that, but they are like rusted in place, basically. I got this bike. I got a screaming deal on this bike, but it came with problems.
Came with issues.
So there's things I can't take apart. So there's only certain bike boxes that this bike will even function with, which that one should work because you don't have to take off. I think.
I have a Scion bike box.
Do you? Okay,
Yeah.
and someone else has one too, a triathlon one. Anyway, so that's the one I was kind of like, okay, they're running a deal on like 50% off of their old ones or 40% off of their new ones. So that's a pretty nice chunk of change to work with there.
I think we might get a better deal through the team, Matt.
Okay. All right. So
anyway, I digress. Yeah.
So surprise.
Thanks a lot.
I was trying to look the other direction when he was
right.
talking about this. I'm like,
Right.
I'm not going to say anything.
I know. I just figured I would watch Jake squirm, which mission accomplished. So that is one item that I am, interested in for Christmas. Jake, how about you?
Very cool. I am very keen on getting a new cross bike. I
Nice.
just got a text message from our friends over at Cannondale, and we are officially set up with
Set?
Cannondale.
Oh, Lance.
And they have some
There's ants in his pants.
I'm going to replace
Ants
the
in
whole
Lance.
fleet.
They've got some killer cross bikes, and I'm really kind of wanting to get on one of those. I'm not quite ready, and that leads me to my other thing that I want for Christmas is a new shoulder.
Oh, yeah. With a bow on it.
With a bow on it would be fantastic, so I could ride all
Carbon
these
fiber.
awesome bikes. So yeah, that's one for me. How about you, Lance?
Well, I have been jonesing for an adventure van.
Nice.
I want
That's a
one.
good idea.
I want one so bad.
Well, because you're Lance.
I know.
Hey, hold on. So Andy Levine on our team
Yes,
has
yes.
got a killer one,
yes,
right?
I've looked at it. I've been in it.
I've already talked to him, and I'm selling my truck, and I'm getting one. We're doing it
Are
this
you
winter.
serious?
Yeah, I'm going to build one for work and for the team and for family stuff. And then he's invited me to come down to go to lunch so that we can talk shop all things adventure vans.
I'm coming. On
You're
that.
coming with
Let
me,
me come on the lunch date.
I was going to say,
You guys should have
come with us. Yeah,
It'd be cute if you guys had matching adventure vans.
that would be sweet.
Well, that's the thing. I've been looking at him. I spend hours every day.
Yeah.
Yes, we're probably looking at the same
Yes,
ones
we're probably
online.
looking at the same ones.
Looking at like Facebook and Craigslist
Yes,
and Auto Trader and
yes.
just general searches for the different dealerships around here. Yeah.
They're so expensive.
Yeah.
They're so expensive to try to get what you want. And there's like 3 different models that are really good, and I'm trying to decide which one I really want. And there's certain things it's just been this like all-encompassing thing that I'm just driving my wife crazy
Yeah,
with.
it's very easy to spend over $100,000 on one of these things once it's all said and done.
Yeah.
So I'm a little bit more frugal, so it maybe don't have quite the pockets that Mr. Lance has over here. We'll just be honest with it. So I gotta kind of figure out like, all right, well, what do I need and what do I want, and then what is that I'm actually going to be able to afford, and then how much of this can I do myself? So yeah. We've got a friend who lives in the community. You guys know Katie Linton?
Yeah, I've heard that name.
She's building one right now herself. And
Oh, wow.
she's posting up all the pictures like on Facebook
That's cool.
and on Instagram as she's been going along. She is knocking the ball out of the park, and she's doing all of this work herself.
All
I
by
mean, she's
herself.
cutting like the panels out to put new windows in, and she's doing all the electrical work, and she's building all the sidewalls and the paneling for the inside. She's doing a killer job. Now, granted, it's taking her quite a bit of time. I think she's been working on it for easily 6 months, but she got herself a used one, and it had a little bit of bumps and bruises on it, so she got a good deal on it. But
Yeah.
she's slowly fixing all these things and making it custom to her, and she loves it. It's awesome watching her do this. So
So what are you guys going to do with these things?
Well, mine is to travel in.
Right. You'll go to Utah.
I'll go to Utah. I'll go to California. I'll go to Nevada.
You just pull over on some gravel road and be like, I'm going to stay here for 3 days.
I could do that. Yep. And I want to be able to have 5 bikes with me. That's the biggest issue. Is most of them are made for 2 bikes or 3 bikes.
5 bikes. You are ridiculous.
Well, yeah,
it's awesome.
It is
we should
ridiculous.
establish that you're ridiculous, but go ahead. Keep going.
So that's my plan, is to have, I need a garage where I can fit 5 bikes in. And I'd like a bed that I can crash in. I don't need to live in it for months on end, but I need to live in it for weeks.
Okay.
And so there's some things that are important to me and not. I want a place for my dog and a window for my dog. A place for my dog to sit where she can look out the window.
He has not mentioned his wife yet.
Well, I'll take my dog more than I'll probably take my wife on these trips.
Okay. Yep.
To be completely honest.
Yeah, sure.
But I need a spot for all that stuff, and so that's what I'm wanting to use it for, is just to travel with. And I want to be able to go to races and have a home base at these races.
Yep.
You park next to each other. If you guys park next to each other.
See, I need to get one just so I can follow Lance, because in 2019,
It's 2019.
he's going to show me all these places.
Follow Lance tour.
Follow Lance tour. So so you guys will go night before races to some of these things, or it depends on the race.
It depends on the race or where they're at.
For me, the back end of it's going to be a little bit more diverse, I think, than what Lance is thinking about. His is probably going to be like, once he gets it set up, it's going to be set up, and it's going to be, that's what it's going to be. I want mine to be more modular. I need to be able to use mine for a lot of the stuff that Lance just said, but I also need to be able to take my family camping.
Yeah.
I need to be able to use it for work-related stuff, with the Dallas Cycling Lab stuff. And then all of the racing that we've got going on. I've been kind of the de facto driver that takes a lot of people to all the different races, and I can usually take myself and 2, maybe 3 other people, with my truck and with the bike rack on the back, and we'll show up at all the races. And I'd love to be able to take 3 or 4 or 5 people comfortably with all of our bikes, and then be able to bring all of the stuff that we would need. Like, do we need tools? Do we need, a place to do, like, turn some wrenches and a little bit of space to store all of these said bikes and make sure that it's safe and secure. So that's really for me what I want it to be. So the back end of it needs to be more modular. I need to be able to, like, take things out and put things in, so I can have like a workbench, and I can have like like tool storage, and I can take that out, and then I can put in like the camping modular stuff. So I can have a bed, and I can have a place for storage and things of that nature. Because my family, we like to do the camping thing, and we'll usually get out on a skinny year like 2 times, and then sometimes up to maybe 3 or 4 times, and we'll usually go out for 2, 3, 4 days. So if we've got a nice setup, I mean, it makes life a lot easier, and we've got a dog and just a myriad of things. And right now I've got a pretty big truck, and it's got an 8-foot bed on it. We pack that thing full, and there's really no room for the kids in the back of the truck sitting in the back seat, just all kind of packed in with each other. So if we can have a little bit more room to wiggle, that would be kind of nice for us.
So and this will be your kind of everyday car then as well?
Yeah, it will be. And I'm still kind of working out
You're thinking more like this is more for trips.
These are for trips for me.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I don't do a lot of driving.
Right.
I honest to God,
you bike a lot.
I bike a lot.
Kids at school and home.
Yeah, and we've got another car in the family. And worst case scenario, if I had to get some little rinky-dink car just to kind of bebop around town, I can always do that too. It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of my thing.
They're so popular right now, though, that they're really hard to find, and that the deals disappear in days. They're gone so quickly. Yeah. So
there's a market there, man. Maybe we need to start building these things.
Maybe we should be doing that.
There you go.
Yeah. It's super popular.
Yeah. All right. So that's on Lance's Christmas list. What about you, Matt? You got another one?
So I made a video, I don't remember when it was, maybe last Tuesday, just talking about like camera stuff and like how I film stuff for YouTube videos and things like that. And I was like, well, I have this lens and this lens, and I definitely have like, I would say a number of camera things that I want to pick up.
Yeah, there you go.
The one that relates most to cycling stuff would be like a GoPro Hero 7. Have you looked into?
I did, and I just sent them another inquiry about being able to to connect with them, with the team, with the dialed cycling thing.
I got a not great deal. I went ahead and just picked one up. I'm just gonna have to like put it underneath the tree at this point. My wife's probably like listening to this podcast and cursing my name.
Oh,
but
Matt,
like,
that was the other thing I told her to get you.
Did you? Oh,
this is on my list as well, Matt.
Is it?
Okay. GoPro 7.
Get the 7.
Put it on, on my list.
Well, you should look and see. They had a Black Friday deal where you I mean, the price wasn't that great, but they also had like it came with
a
some
chest strap, and
some stuff,
and an extra battery.
There weren't that many deals. Like I kind of waited around for this time of year to get the deal. Otherwise I would have bought it a month ago.
Yeah,
but I think that's the one to get.
So that landed on all 3 of our lists.
Yeah, the GoPro 7.
Yeah, it was on my list as well.
It's on my list too.
What are some of the features on that thing that you really like?
The one thing that I think is the deal maker is the stabilization.
Image stabilization.
Yeah, it's kind of in-memory image stabilization, basically. So, it's using algorithms and things like that to basically do some tracking. So it records wider than it needs to, and then it can stabilize with the range there.
That's really cool.
So
yeah, for those of you who have not seen Matt's YouTube channel, he does a lot of videos, and he comes up with some really cool shots, and he uses his GoPro that he has now for that. So for him to have another one in his quiver of tools to use, and to have something that's got some pretty cool stuff, I mean, you're going to come up with even more cool content.
Well, I technically have 2 GoPros already. I hope my wife doesn't listen to this. It's okay. It's like bikes, right? But yeah, so I have 2 GoPros currently, and so this will be a 3rd. Which, I mean, it's nice to throw them everywhere and record stuff, and then have some variability in your shots and things like that.
Yeah.
So,
I have a Garmin Verb.
Yeah, those are good.
They're good. They give you a decent little quality shot, and the cool little overlays that you can put on there.
Yeah.
I think I got it maybe. It's got to be about 3 or 4 years old now. So, I mean, technology's come along quite a ways, and I've been looking at that and the Hero, and it just seems like it has some really cool things. And I'm really curious how it's going to work, but the live streaming, I think that's kind of neat. Like being able to I'm thinking of if I'm in a race, or if we're out at like PIR, we're doing short track or something like that, and to put that on the front of your bike where the race is going to be inside the time where the thing would die, the battery would die.
Yeah.
And if you were to live stream it, that'd be a lot of fun to watch. I would love nothing more than to put that on Lance, or maybe next year when I'm racing against Lance at short track, if he and I each had one, we're live streaming it on our Facebook page or something like that. That'd be a lot of fun for people to watch, like the duking it out, going back and forth of Lance kicking my butt. So could be fun.
Not gonna happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would be fun. I agree. I also like the fact that they're voice controlled.
Yes.
Do you have one that has that now?
I don't know
'Cause
if
I
mine
don't.
does. Well, mine's the 5.
Yeah.
My latest one is the 5, but I wouldn't rely on that being a great feature, only because if it's far enough away and it's getting wind noise, it's going to have a hard time recognizing the fact for you to say, GoPro, go record my cool, wheelie that I'm about to do. It's going to be like,
Right.
yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, there's some other things I think that GoPro is nice. I think it records 4K video, which is pretty high resolution. I don't think any of us have 4K TVs at this point.
No.
But I think it's nice to have that 4K, and then you can crop into different locations. That's the way I use 4K a lot of times. And then the other thing is being able to do some of the higher frame rates. So you record at like 120 frames per second, and then you can slow it down, and it
still looks good.
It looks much better, and it can smooth out your shots and stuff like that. So, yep.
How long does the battery last? How much time can you expect to get out of them?
That's a great question. I don't know about the 7. I'm thinking that they're on the same battery technology as the 5 as far as the size of the battery and the batteries that they're using. I'm guessing 2 hours.
I think it's like an hour or less.
Yeah.
I get an hour and 15 out of the Verb.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So did they skip the 6 or?
No, they had there's
a
a
6.
6.
Okay.
Yeah.
It didn't have the image stabilization.
The
That the
image
7
stabilization is
does.
the big one.
Gotcha.
Yeah. There's also a new time lapse feature that I heard is pretty good on the 7. That's a new feature. So it smooths out your time lapse and things like that. So yeah, I'll be checking that
That should
out.
be cool too.
I'll put it in a video somewhere and I'll show you guys.
Are you going to use it before Christmas?
Probably.
You're just going to put an empty box under the tree and say, "Ooh, look what I got."
Yeah. I'll use it and I'll put it back in the box and put it underneath the
There
tree.
you go.
My wife's going to kill me.
This was my
So
afternoon
disappointed.
plan. This afternoon was,
Go
okay,
get the 7?
I need to decide what things I'm going to get with the 7 if I'm going to get it today so I can get that Cyber Monday deal on the 7.
Oh, yeah.
So is that deal still live today?
I don't know.
It's still live today.
Okay. Yeah.
Lance, let me know if you get one. If you get one, I'll get one too.
Just
We're
do
not good for each
No.
other.
I reached out to them over a month ago about setting something up, and I just never heard back from them. And I actually sent them another email this morning after hearing from
Right.
your wife over the weekend,
Oh my
and we
gosh.
said we're going to reach out again, and they just haven't gotten back. So maybe I need to track down a phone number. GoPro, if you're listening, call me back, man.
Come on, GoPro. Sponsor our podcast.
When I was in St. George, I was doing this really cool mountain bike trail called Gooseberry Mesa, and I just had my phone with me, and I kept taking video clips.
Right.
Where I would pull my phone out of my pocket and ride with one hand, and I'm
This is
So
not
safe. That is so safe. I love it.
I'm on 1,000-foot cliff edge, and I've got one hand, and I'm laughing at myself because it's so ridiculous that I'm trying to get video. But it was such a cool spot. I'm like, I've got to get video.
Yeah.
And one of the videos that I put up on my Instagram story, you can see me crashing because I misjudged a corner, and you just can't brake with one hand very well, and I went down. And I laughed at myself. So
Were
I'm
you
like, I
braking
got to
with
get this stupid
The front
GoPro.
brake, too, of all things?
Yes.
Yeah, you knucklehead.
Well,
I've totally done all this stuff where
I have to film with my right hand. My right hand is more stable than my left hand. Anyway,
That's funny. Anything else on your list, Matt?
Oh, this is probably, we all probably have this problem where it's like, if there's something you really want, you find a deal and you buy it,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
So it's not
Sa-
easy to shop for us.
same. My family hates me. Dad,
Yeah.
what do you want for Christmas? I just want a
I know.
sweetly, kindly worded letter from
Right.
the heart.
Yeah.
Because anything I want, I'm going to buy myself.
Yeah. I ordered a camera lens.
Oh, you did? Which one?
1635.
Hey, there you go.
It's the exact same one that you have.
Yep.
I thought a lot about buying. The Sony camera that Jake and I both have, they have like a cheaper version and a really expensive version. I really thought about buying the fancy one, but it's like an extra $1,000.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Just to get a little bit sweeter, more butter.
It's a
Can't talk anymore,
crisper
guys. I
image.
suck.
It's nicer image.
Just a lower
I think. Yeah,
f-stop on it,
better light. Better light goes into the camera. So
For another $1,000.
I know. Well, and I saw deals on both, and so anyway.
Yeah, you don't see deals on those very often.
No. But yeah. Anyway, tough times. Tough times in the Legrand house, buying whatever we want.
The swooshy people been good to you then,
The
huh?
swooshy people have been good to me. Yes.
Anything else, Lance?
I've got nothing else on my list. No.
Yeah. Santa already kind of came to my house. He dropped off a couple bicycles. That was kind of nice.
I'm looking at one of them. Oh my gosh. Drool all over the microphone.
The road bike is just about done too. It's I'll probably have it finished maybe later today or tomorrow.
Tell me about the road bike.
It's a new BMC team machine.
Okay.
So I ordered a frame set and have been parting and piecing it together. And the wheels showed up, the drivetrain's here, and it's all plumbed and put in. And I've just got to finish trimming the brake hoses, and then got to finish the installation of the brakes and bleed them, and then just a couple other small little things like taping the bars and whatnot, and the bike's done.
Does it have the interesting like tubes that are kind of like set up for water bottles, like to kind of shield the wind?
No,
from the
that
water
is
bottles?
that's the Time Machine Road. I
Time
have the
Machine
Team
Road.
Machine, which is their all around like their team race bike, if you will, basically. So it does not have that little.
Is it pretty similar to the one you had before?
As a matter of fact, it's exactly the same. It's just I just got the frame, and it's a different color. It's black on black, so it's pretty slick.
Is that a new color for the year, or
for that frame module? Yes, that was a new frame option, color option that they had for 2019.
What wheels are going to be?
The head.
Okay.
Oh gosh, it starts with a V. Is it Valor or Victor or something? I don't know. You'd think I would know the stuff. I just haven't logged it to memory yet.
Yeah, I think Head makes really good wheels. I think that's a really solid
high
company
end,
if you're considering.
lightweight carbon 44s, if I'm not mistaken, is what they were. So it's a
Disc
nice
brake.
Disc brake. It's a nice all around wheel.
Yeah, of course.
Excited about that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So really would like to ride it outside though. not ready for that yet. All right.
What do you think? What's
How close are you to riding outside?
How many people are you going to take with you on your maiden voyage? Like everyone? Like
I don't know.
50 people?
I might have you guys all like ride around me and put like bubble wrap on you in case I crash in and you can dive underneath me so I don't kill myself. But I don't know, to be completely honest with you. We have our ugly Christmas sweater ride coming up this weekend. The doctor has given me clearance. If he basically told me, he's like, if you feel that you're stable, he's like, you're going to know your stability better than anybody. And he's like, I trust your judgment when it comes to the bike. And here's some little qualifying factors. Like, you need to be able to obviously ride on the bike on the hoods.
Right.
And you need to be stable enough so that, if anything happens, you can, stay out of harm's way so you don't hurt yourself even more.
Right.
He's like, once you feel like you can check those boxes, you can go out and give it a shot. I'm just about there.
Do you want to do something like drive out to Vancouver Lake where it's just like,
Flat.
no flat, no cars ish, and like you can ride in the middle of the road? Or...
I was thinking about actually just leaving from my house here. Now, granted, we live on top of a hill,
know,
but if we just go up a tiny little climb, it's not even top, and there's a school up there, and there's like a 1 mile loop around the school. Just going up and doing a couple loops around just to see how it feels.
Yeah.
That was what I was thinking about, testing it out. So, I mean, it's been 6 months since this thing's happened. So I haven't ridden a bike outside in 6 months.
Yeah.
And I've been doing everything on the trainer, and I think I'm pretty stable. I've been doing little things on there that he's wanted me to do, just stretch my hands out, getting out to the hoods and riding on them with a little bit of pressure, and all that stuff feels pretty good. So surgically speaking, my shoulder is pretty sound. What I'm dealing with now is a lot of the nerve damage. There's 2 nerves that were pretty well damaged, and they're going to be super slow to recover and heal. The other strength that I'm gaining from doing physical therapy with Evan is starting to kind of create more stability in my shoulder. So I've got some strength there, and I can actually pick up little things. And I'm not supposed to be picking up heavy weights and things of that nature, but I think what a bike ride would demand, I think I'm just about there. So it's gonna be pretty soon. So
will you use clip-in pedals?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do it any other way. I feel more safe and comfortable
You're
riding.
like feel
clipped
connected
in.
to the bike. Yeah.
And that's kind of a funny thing because back in the day, like when you told somebody to clip in for the first time, you're totally unstable versus the flats. And well, it's the complete opposite for me. I feel more stable clipped in than I do on the flats. So it's I'll get out there and do it. So I'll give you a call, let you know if you want to come join me.
Yeah.
Do a couple laps.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, I'll shut up now. All right, I think that about wraps it up for our Christmas list for this year. So if you guys are thinking about buying us anything, because
you're out of luck.
You're out of luck, but we've been providing you this podcast free of charge for this is our 39th episode.
Speaking of which, if you guys do appreciate the podcast, one of the things you can do is you can hop over to iTunes is probably the best place.
Yes, sir.
And drop us a rating, somewhere between 5 and 5.
Yes, that's your 2 options for rating: 5 stars or 5 stars.
One of those two. Choose wisely. And that definitely helps out the podcast as far as getting it to more people. I think eventually we'll talk about like monetizing the podcast at some point. I mean, Jake puts in a ridiculous amount of work on this podcast.
Yeah.
And Lance and I just come in here and
spew,
goof off. And,
Matt drinks all my coffee.
and
Matt steals all my seltzer waters.
Right. It's valuable too. Right. Yeah. So.
No, that's all good. And leave us a comment, too. We really appreciate that. We really appreciate, and honestly, we don't get a lot of them, but we do appreciate the people that leave us comments on Facebook.
Yeah.
I mean, that makes my day when we see something pop up, somebody says something positive or encouraging or like asks us a question or calls us out even and tells us we suck. I mean, I still get a charge out of all of it. That's awesome. So thank you for doing that and keep doing it. So, all right, one last thing.
I was going to plug the Ugly Sweater Christmas ride. But
plug it again.
What's the date on it?
It is December 1st.
Okay.
9 a.m. We are meeting at Hub Brewery
Hub.
On
Hop
Mill
Works
Plain.
Urban Brewery. Yep.
Right on the border of Camas and Vancouver, Washington.
Nice.
Proud team
And-
sponsor of Dialed Cycling.
Yep. And we are going to do a flat ride out to Vancouver Lake and back.
Yep. We will stop out at Frenchman's Bar. They've got a nice little, what would you call that? Like a little picnicky, beachy area. And they've got a cool place where we'll take a picture out there with the group and let everybody kind of reconnect. It's a no drop, all fun, total casual ride.
Yep.
However, going out to that part, every single year that we've done this, people have dropped the hammer and they'll just wait for us out there. So if you guys want to go out there and drop the hammer out there, that's fine.
You can wait out there.
Yeah. But we'll take a picture and we'll head back into Vancouver. Stop at Compass Coffee like we do.
Yep.
And then we'll take a nice little scenic route back to Hub and call it a day. It'll be about 36 miles of easy, casual, fun, social riding. Wearing
ugly Christmas sweaters.
Yes.
That's the idea. The uglier, the better.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
And
And
then,
there's usually a winner.
There's a winner. We have a contest, and then we do a contest too for the best decorated bike.
Right.
Which is kind of neat. So
And we're also raising money to donate bikes to kids as
Yes.
well. So we're also taking donations for that so that we can make Christmas a little better for some kids in our community.
some kids are going to have a crappy Christmas, and we're going to change that. They will get a brand new bike, and then we'll get a brand new helmet from Dialed Cycling and all the folks who are supporting this and coming out. It's open to anybody. You don't have to be, on the team. You don't have to be anything. You could just be a cyclist, and if you want to come out and join us, come on out.
So the page on that, I think there's a GoFundMe.
Yes.
Is that what it is?
We will post that up on
Okay.
all of our social media.
Gotcha.
All of it. So I'll make sure that everybody gets the 2 cents.
They want to contribute.
I actually got approached at church yesterday about
Really?
the ugly sweater Christmas ride. Yeah,
Really?
somebody came up to me and said, "Wait, are you Lance Hepler with Dialed Cycling?" I'm in church. I'm in a suit and tie.
Yeah.
and I'm like, yes, I am. And he had been looking at the Vancouver Bike Club website because he was wanting to do some kind of charity ride and found our ugly sweater Christmas
Oh,
ride.
that's
And
awesome.
Sweet.
then he started looking at Dialed Cycling and was like, wait, what is this all about? It was kind of cool.
Yeah, they were nice enough to put up a nice little banner ad for us on that. Kind of neat stuff.
Excellent.
Yeah. Matt, one last thing.
I don't have a whole bunch of one last things to roll through. I guess I would say thanks for our listeners that are tuning in. Yeah, and thanks to Jake for sure. I said this before, the podcast takes a lot of work. The editing time, I think, is probably where the work comes in. So Jake, thanks for letting us do this.
I have fun doing it.
I know, but
So
It's still work.
the editing is a lot of work, and I appreciate it. I really think the podcast is good. Like I said this earlier in the podcast, like especially when I'm not on the podcast is good, really good. Those episodes.
No,
sometimes when I'm not,
It's
those ones-
better with you on it.
Sometimes it just seems to be so much better. Anyway, I like get giddy when I'm like, ooh, I get to turn this podcast on. Like I really do. I get excited, and when I'm not on it, at least. But yeah, so thank you.
Yeah. It's always fun to go back and listen to them and really critique yourself. I'm a worst critic of everybody out there. So I think I dropped saying good times, or not good times, it was good stuff.
Yeah.
That was, and then for me now, it bugs the crap out of me. I say basically 100 times. So that's the new drinking game. So every time you hear Jake say basically, you take a drink.
Oh, basically is a new one. You know what? At the end of one of my last videos, I said something like, and what did I say? I said whatever you say at the end of the podcast. It was like,
Bye for now?
Bye for now. And I was like, as soon as I said it, I was like, did I really just freaking say that? I'm stealing Jake's mannerisms. It's bad. This is bad.
I think we hang out a little too much. So, All right, my one last thing would be to join us on Tuesday nights for our Dialed Zwift ride. That's we talked about this earlier. It's a great way to hold yourself accountable. It's a great way to get to know and meet some new people and come out and get a good workout. It's usually a workout. I mean, we'll have a good warm-up period. We will have a good prescribed tempo, if you will. It's not necessarily a tempo ride, but a good pace that we're going to hold. You can always kind of fudge a little bit if that's a little bit more than your body is capable of producing by just simply dropping your weight on there. And that's just a way of just digitally doping yourself so that you can hang with everybody. But you can kind of find that little happy medium. And then you can hang with the ride. And then there's always a hot section that's built in there, whether it's a longer sustained climb that's shorter, maybe like 5 to 7 minutes, and then sometimes we'll have like a hot lap of depending upon what course we're doing, and that could be like this past week was like 13 or 14 minutes,
15 minutes, 14 minutes
of pain and suffering and crying and sweating. So come out and join us though. Everybody's welcome, and we send out our invites on Strava. It's basically, there I go saying it again. It's on our Strava group page on there. You can follow that, and that's open for anybody. And then I will generally post it up on our Dialed Cycling Club page as well. That's on Facebook.
Nice.
So you can look up the Dialed Cycling Club. It's not necessarily the team, but it's just the community page that we have for everybody to jump on and see what's going on.
Awesome.
So, yeah, come out there and check it out. Have fun with us.
Awesome.
Perfect.
Yes, very perfect. So, all right, I will speak on behalf of everybody. Thank you for listening. We really do appreciate your time. Matt, welcome back.
Absolutely.
Thank you
Good
for
to be
being
back.
in the studio. Lance, thank you for coming on in.
My pleasure.
Oh, how are you recovering from your whooping that you took from your son last week? You doing all right?
If you guys haven't listened to it,
it was a rough week. It was a rough week.
The Lake Show put you in.
The Lake Show
check.
Put me down a little bit.
Yeah, if people haven't listened to the last podcast, go back and have a listen.
Definitely have a listen. So
That's what your kids do. They mock you. You know, I'm not cool to my kids. I'm the old man.
we'll have to have him come out on a ride, and you can Lance him back.
Yeah, it would be painful for him.
All right, Evan, we hope that you are flying safe, and we look forward to having you back next week, hopefully. Good times. All right, you guys, thanks for listening. We'll see you next week, and bye for now.